Okay, on we go here. We're in chapter 2 in St. John. We have the miracle here of water into wine, Christ departing into Capernaum and to Jerusalem, where he purchased the temple of buyers and sellers. He foretelleth his death and resurrection. Many believe because of the miracles, but he would not trust himself with them. Notes from the translators. He did not commit himself to them. So there we are, chapter 2, verse 1, St. John. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. Period. 3, and when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. Period. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Question mark. Mine hour is not yet come. Folks, what is his hour? What is his hour? His hour is the crucifixion, folks. And he'll use that statement again, okay, in the gospel. Anyway, my hour is not yet come. 5, his mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Okay, measurement. And 7, and Jesus saith unto them, Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up to the brim. Period. And 8, and he saith unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bear it. Okay, now, once again, you see how he takes care of the people around him. It's remarkable. There where they didn't have enough food when he was teaching, and he had the miracle of feeding the 5,000, etc. And that's a lesson. That's a lesson for us, folks, because of the withdrawing of our things we need to live, the things we're used to having, and here we have the world government bearing down on us. Notice the faith that Mom had. And notice he's referring to his hour. Okay? So, he bears it to the governor. Now, is that not going to get the governor to think? All right, so let's see here. In 9, when the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was. Yeah, where'd you get this? But the servants which drew the water knew. The governor of the feast called the bridegroom. In 10, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when the men have well drunk, then that which is worse. but thou hast kept the good wine until now. So what's he saying? As you're making merry at the feast, you put the good stuff out first, and when people get happy, they don't. It doesn't really matter to them. They don't know the difference in the taste like they do when they first sit down. So he's talking about this custom of putting the good stuff out first, and he's wondering why didn't they put the good stuff out first. Anyway, 11, this beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and the disciples believed on him. Once again, we have all these miracles, but what is the main reason he's here? And that is to cast down sin forever, to defeat Lucifer on the cross. It is a stressful, painful to have all the sin of the world on your back here, so we got the descriptions of it. And notice how he refers directly to that moment in which he's going to destroy the works of the devil, and death will not have its sting anymore. And then this is going to be, as I said, this is the beginning of the miracles, and there's going to be some huge miracles here. I mean, it just goes on and on with all the miracles, okay? So this is very interesting, and we do see the custom here of when it comes to marriage. It was a feast. There in the book of Tobit, it was 21 days altogether with the two families. Here, the people at the feast had called him to this, and the mother. So anyway, this is the beginning of miracles, but still, you got to look at the fact that where there was nothing to nourish, in this case, the feast, here the Lord supplied. And that's how he supplied with the 5,000. Same type of thing. Where there was none, he supplied. And that's what I'm talking about as we go into the tribulation. And we have the food shortage and the water shortage being used on us to lean on the Lord here. Okay? Okay. And his disciples, they're believing. Anyway, a new paragraph in 12. After this, he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother, and his brethren, and his disciples, and they continued there not many days. Okay, and he moved on there into Capernaum in 13. We have another paragraph. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. 14, and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. Okay, now this happened a couple times, didn't it? Because the other time when he does it, it's right before the crucifixion. So you see lots of times things repeat here. When you're teaching people, you're going to use some of the same testimonies, the same words, the same similitudes as you keep teaching people. So these, and also his actions repeated. This is early here into his ministry. Into his ministry, folks. And see, the miracle when he scourged in the temple, that was right before his crucifixion. So there are two different episodes of these money changers never did quit, did they? You know? So anyway, he scolds them pretty good, and he does this again before the crucifixion. Okay, so anyway, so this is the Passover. And the other incident is before the Passover, but it's right before when he was really feeling heavy. He went in there and let him have it and chased him out of there. So in 14, and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables. Okay, and now he gets into the book of Isaiah here. 16, and said unto them that sold doves, Take these things hence, make not my Father's house the house of merchandise. 17, and his disciples remembered that it was written, The zeal of thine house hath eaten me up. That's Psalms 69:9. What I'm referring to is in Isaiah, where he said, My house is to be the house of prayer, and you've turned it into a den of thieves. Okay, and that's Isaiah. Okay, so like I said, there's two different incidents here. 18 is a new paragraph. It says, Then answered the Jews, with this new paragraph, and said unto him, What sign shewest thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things? So they're asking for a sign. Question mark. And this went on. It wasn't just one time when people disbelieving mocked. 19, Jesus answered and said unto them, Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. All right, now he obviously is talking about the temple of his body and his resurrection there in 19. Okay, and so this came back as they were accusing him. 20, it says, Then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? Question mark. In 21, but he spake of the temple of his body. Okay, you see how lack of understanding is there? Because these are Pharisaical Jews here, aren't they? Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. They're dumbed down bad. And if you read the Kabbalah and you believe that, you are dumbed down. 22. When therefore he was risen from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this unto them, and they believed the scripture and the word which Jesus had said. All right, new paragraph in 23. Now, when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover, in the feast day, many believed in his name when they saw the miracles which he did. 24, but Jesus did not commit himself unto them, because he knew all men. So he can see inside their soul. 25, and needed not that any should testify of man, for he knew what was in man. Okay, so like I said, this mocking went on quite a bit. And most of the time it came from the religious idiots of the time, the holier-than-thou Pharisees or scribes, the doctors of law, the big shots that did the mocking. And they weren't going to give up this making merchandise in the temple. He talked about this, not making mammon your God. Okay, we got that right there in Luke. And these people are making mammon their God. Are they or are they not? Are they not putting the weight on their buying and selling? All right. So these things they were selling, when people wanted to donate it to the sacrifices there for the Levites, they could purchase it here from these people, and they were making a profit doing it. It wasn't like they're donating it to everybody. So anyway, this is a different look at it. And like I said, there is some repetition. There were always people that believed. And many times, many times, the Pharisees were the ones that had their blind eyes and ears. They just were. The common folk seemed to get it pretty good. But here we have some people that believed, but he knew what was inside of them. And so this didn't, there's something lacking here as Jesus looks right through them. See everybody in chapter 3. Bye-bye.